When it comes to cybersecurity settings, we're going to take a look at several things. First thing we're going to take a look at is going to be the firewall. Then we're going to take a look at malicious software detection. We're going to look at the settings you have for encryption, lock screens, permissions, remote access, and backups. And we'll address each of these separately and talk about what you can do about it. So let's talk about firewalls. Think of a firewall as like the bouncer at a VIP club. His job is to make sure that only people who have been granted access are getting in the door. And that's what your router is doing, and that's what your computers have firewalls and your phones have firewalls that are doing. You want to make sure that that's set to the highest settings and always turned on. And we're going to take a look at your malicious software detection. All your operating systems have software detection built into them, or maybe you have a third-party one like Norton or McAfee or something like that. But you want to make sure that those are installed and on and running constant live scans in addition to a full scan on weekly or every couple of weeks or something like that. Now let's take a look at your encryption settings. Depending on what operating system you're using and what version of that operating system you have the ability to set up a full disk encryption. What that means is if somebody gets a hold of your computer and tries to take the hard drive out and look at what's on it, they will not be able to access any of your files. So this is something you definitely want to use if it's available. If it's not available, there's some third-party apps that do the same thing. Another thing we want to take a look at is your settings for your lock screen. You want it to make sure that if you walk away from your computer for a few minutes, that it automatically shuts the monitor off into a screensaver or a lock screen, and you have to use your password to get it back open again. This gives you an extra layer of security in case you forget to shut off your computer before you go walk to the bathroom or something like that, or if there's other people around and you stand up and walk away. Another thing you want to take a look at is your permissions that you're giving all these apps on your computer and your phone. Do they really need it? Take a look at your microphone permissions, your camera permissions, and your location permissions specifically. Those are the ones that by default a lot of apps ask for permissions to those things as soon as they install, and you really don't need them to have that permission. They don't really need to know your location, or they really don't need to be able to activate your camera. Another setting you might want to take a look at is remote access. Who can get access to your computer or your phone or your tablet when you have already authorized it once maybe, or maybe you don't even know you authorized it before? Take a look at those settings and see who all has access to get into your devices. Sometimes it's necessary and you wanted it, but most of the time it's not. Another setting that we want to take a look at is your backup settings. You want to make sure that your operating system has backup settings set to do a full backup weekly, and then live backup of what they call incremental, the files that have changed throughout the day. You want that backed up every night. This way you only lose one day's worth of data if something goes wrong.